Here's what we had so far for our agenda. So, um, since Andrew's here, if you want to make any mentions on the fall tree planting schedule.
Yeah, sure. Just a heads up. Sorry, I have to go around 8 o'clock, so I might we
Yep, we're,
about
we're
the.
gonna try to get this done in half hour.
Okay. Um, yeah, our schedule is pretty much set for the fall. We have 4 or 5 events in Plymouth. The first one is on October 10th. We're planting some new trees, native trees at the Plymouth Swim Club. We met with them and we're donating 3 trees to them, and they're buying 4 more. So we're planting 7 there total. Um, and we're also doing a project at Storehouse Church along the stream in the front of their property to help restore the riparian area there and prevent erosion and increase the stream quality. And that's on Saturday, October 21st. And then Thursday, November 2nd, we're doing a corporate volunteer event with Amerisource Bergen in Cunchy. They're sending a lot of their employees to help, and we're gonna do some work at Harriet Wetherill Park, planting some new stuff along the stream and tending to previously planted trees and plants. And that's on November 2nd. And then November 17th, we have the bare root planting. So we're planting 2 bare root trees at Black Horse Park and 2 at Bicentennial. And I think that's pretty much it for Plymouth this fall. We might schedule another event or two, but those are all that's set for right now.
It is the October 21st, the event with the scout troop.
Yeah, we're still waiting to hear back a number that we can expect. But I think that event will be open for anyone as well, in addition to the scouts.
Great. And I'll just put down here with scouts.
Busy
Nice.
schedule.
Good. Yeah, busy schedule. Good update. Nice to see all this greening in our local area. Thank
Yeah,
you,
we're excited.
Yeah, looks great, Andy.
Thank
Andrew.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so Andrew shared with me before uh, the pollinator garden that he started in or that he had a group work on in Black Horse Park. So we won't go through all of these pictures, but if you want me to highlight a few, Andrew, so you set up this sign to explain it, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's done surprisingly well. I wasn't expecting any blooms the first year because usually the plants just grow their roots the first year, but we had several things blooming and lots of pollinators already, native pollinators like that wasp, that butterfly on the butterfly milkweed, and the mountain mint was blooming. So it was definitely better than expected. It took a lot of work, just because you have to weed in between them until they grow a little bit bigger to fill in themselves. But I think next year will be really, really cool.
So this was the full size of the plot.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
It is nice looking.
Hmm.
Oh wow,
Congratulations, yeah,
you got
having it grow already. That's terrific.
and you got some families involved, right?
Yeah, it was a good event planting it and stuff. And we found even with the trees there, the soil is really good at that park for some reason. Maybe it was minimally disturbed when the park was constructed or for whatever reason, but all of the trees have done really well. All the plants that we put there have done really well. So yeah, I was surprised and happy to see so many blooms the first year.
Very cool. Congratulations. And you said you're being recognized for a grant you received for this effort. What's that? Uh, what are they doing
Yeah,
to
we
acknowledge?
this was funded by a $500 grant from the Pennsylvania Native Plant Society. And they have an annual conference at this year it's at State College. So they invited me to go out and just do a brief presentation with some pictures on the project and just, I guess, successes and things we learned and things to improve on and stuff like that. So
Right.
on the 30th of this month.
And where are you going for that?
It's at Penn State, up in State College, so a couple hours.
Wow. Get a little weekend away, huh?
Yeah, I've never been up there, but I've heard it's lots of nice forests around. So I'm gonna definitely do some hiking while I'm up there.
Excellent, excellent. Hopefully it
Sounds
won't be a
good.
football weekend.
Oh gosh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully they're away that week.
yeah, that would be good. So while we move right into the Meadow discussion, I'll include this in the notes, but Andrew put together this
This is what
YouTube.
most looks like their front strip to look like, but I think it should look a little bit more like this. Over the last few years, I've turned mine into a micro meadow full of native plants that support our insects, birds, and wildlife. Now, the space between the sidewalk and the road is commonly called a health strip because it's usually really hot and the soils are typically poor and subject to a lot of pollution. But if you choose the right native plants, they won't mind at all. What I have planted here is tough, tolerant of heat, drought, and even salt pollution from the road, and it doesn't require watering once established. These plants provide continuous blooms from early spring to late fall, which provide nectar, pollen, and food for insects and wildlife. Not only that, but it looks awesome from the road and provides additional color and even some educational opportunities through signage I have out there. Make sure to follow your local municipality's laws about vegetation heights near roads. If you have any concerns about line of sight issues, you can always plant the short native plants that stay under 2 or 3 feet. I don't know about you, but I would love to see more folks doing this, and I encourage you to try it out. This is what most folks like their front.
So I'll share that afterwards, but I thought it was really nicely done there, Andrew. So is this in Plymouth that you did this or another place you lived?
Yeah, this is that's at my house on Belvoir Road at the top, kind of
Oh, nice.
hill. Yeah, I've I guess, even on a busy street like Belvoir, I've managed to, I guess, keep the plants out of the road, and the sidewalk ends at my property, which is kind of weird. So I don't get too many people don't use the sidewalk, but
I think it should look
I haven't gotten, knock on wood, I haven't gotten any issues or complaints with neighbors or the township or anything. So
So is that actually Belvoir right there on your left shoulder?
yep, heading up towards Sandy Hill Road.
Oh, wow.
It's the top-
And
yeah.
did you have to ask for approval or did you not need or is it don't ask, don't tell?
Yeah, I didn't ask for approval or anything. I'm trying, to keep the plants out of the road, and luckily I have a couple. You can see I have a couple feet of space there on the shoulder, but yeah, I haven't gotten any approvals or anything.
But you haven't gotten any pushback. Nobody's complained or anything.
Not yet, at least.
How long's it been in place?
I've started planting stuff out there for maybe 3 years now, and this was the first year that it's really looked pretty decent with, mostly full of plants. And so, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Well,
Looks
congratulations.
great.
Yeah, congratulations on that. So, I guess that leads right into I'll just skip over this for a moment. The land ordinance discussion. It's a little bit, Maria read it. She said it's quite detailed. I think the township likes this international code because they don't have to write their own code. So that's very basic and minimal. So I guess the question, the issue came up with is, I guess this elderly resident wasn't able to get her grass taken care of underneath the township limit, and complaining to or asked for support from their state representative, who contacted me and said, is there anything that we would take a look at? So, I'm sure that the end of the season now, she won't need to worry about too much more cutting. I think the township gave her a 14-day extension to before she got fined. So I think this would be a topic maybe to consider for the future. But I just wanted to get your initial reactions to allowing a little bit more flexibility in lawn type. So Maria, you have some comments on this?
Well, just that, I did read Whit Payne's regulation, the ordinance, and it really does get very specific as to what you can grow in terms of what a meadow is, in quotes. But making sure that you don't have any type of invasive plants. I have well, I'm in a different screen right now, but I was reading it, and that is so specific. I really don't want us to get that specific because I really am worried about native plants being just, in that list. And I don't want that to happen. But, I've been considering tearing up my backyard and doing a meadow back there for pollinating. I started a pollinator garden already, but it's not the whole yard. I have mostly, crabgrass back there, so it wouldn't be any loss. And I don't think grass has a whole lot of value. So I think Andy would agree with me there since he's done the same thing. But yeah, I think we should really, take a look at it and just to protect people like the woman that the congressman had contacted you about, and see if we could do anything.
And Andrew, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to look at what our standards are, or our code, but yeah, I think there should be, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but I think there should be some leeway for native plants. I like I didn't look through Whit Payne's, but I like that native plant or invasive plants have to be kept under control if possible.
Right. And their ordinance also says 12 inches too, which really is limiting for some of the taller plants like black-eyed Susans even,
Yeah, there's not many plants that are under a foot. Really.
Yeah, really. So I really don't want to use theirs at all. Theirs is very specific. I think we need to just, if we're going to do anything, expand on ours a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe for next month we can, maybe I'll find the link to the international code. I didn't actually go through and, find the details section on it, but maybe we can research it a little bit and find out what it's
Right.
what it states.
Sounds
So
good.
I'll just reply to the state rep that we probably won't be able to take any action this year, but we'll look into possibly having a little more flexible approach in the future.
And we're going to work on it over the winter.
Yep, we can work on it over the winter. Sound fair?
Yeah.
I
All right.
think.
Cool. So just going back to plastic bags, we did get buy-in from council to start for the township to start reviewing it. So I believe the solicitor is looking at it and comparing it to other ordinances in the area. So I suggested that we could move forward pretty quickly once they do that. I'm not sure how eager they are, but I'll keep asking. I think the outstanding things would be the web content. I gave them 2 examples of web pages, so I don't think we really need anything unique. So that should be fairly easy to stand up with IT. And then notice the customer business sign. So before the actual implementation, so I had suggested in the presentation that if they adopt it in November or December or have the public meeting in November, adopt it in December, announce it for implementation, say April or May. And so this notice to customers would be part of that period between the passing of the ordinance and the actual implementation. Is that you'd want businesses to start posting signs to let their customers know that as of the implementation date that they'll no longer be offering single-use plastic bags. So I got 2 examples of that signage that I also shared with Township, and so we'll see how much we need to work on that, whether they want our help or whether they're okay with blending in their own message. And then they asked me to find out about this. What about exceptions for businesses that have a current stock of plastic bags? So I asked Farron. I sent an email to Farron Zavich and just asked him. So I will follow up on that in the next couple of weeks. The Southeast PA Coalition next discussion regional wide is in early October, so I can at least ask at that point who else has had to deal with that. I know Westchester reported that they would allow a deferral exemption. So, based on the stock, they gave the businesses a certain period of time to work it all out. And if a business said they had that a year supply, they didn't agree to give them the full period of time that they had stock for. But they said if you can use up as much as you need by a certain period of time, and we'll defer. So those are the only things that I think are outstanding in terms of the township asking me these questions. So I think we'll just see how it goes in the next month after the solicitor has reviewed it and find out where we stand. Any reaction, Lynn, to my presentation?
No, I think you did a good job. I think the presentation went well. I think council is feeling favorable. I think there are a few outstanding questions. You've listed what those are. I think one other thing that at least a few council members were discussing is, and maybe Bill, if you talk to Farron about the other exemption or exception issue, like allowing a store to use its existing supply. The other question we had was, if in fact stores have to start charging whatever the cost may be, let's say it's 10 cents or 15 cents per paper bag, in some instances, do townships give exemptions to stores who already are giving away paper bags for free, like as their only source? Like, for example, Whole Foods, right? Whole Foods gives away paper bags. They don't charge for those. So now would we be asking them to start charging for something that previously they gave their customers with no charge?
Yep, good question. Do stores like Whole Foods start charging for paper?
Don't you think that would be up to the store themselves?
Well, it could be, right? But that
Yeah.
would be from an ordinance that says they must charge 15 cents. Right? Because I think the current templated ordinance reads like they have to. There's not an out for that. And I think, I don't want to speak for everybody on council, but I think council would be fine with giving somebody like Whole Foods the opportunity to say, we weren't charging before, we don't want to start charging now. Our customers are going to be upset about that. So I guess that's maybe some of the language we were looking at and at least considering, and wondering if others have done that kind of exemption for a store like Whole Foods. And there are probably other. We don't have a Trader Joe's, but if you're in a township with the Trader Joe's, like that's what they do now. They give away paper bags. Would we require them to start charging for something they've done for free in the past? So any thoughts or guidance around that, as council considers the next draft of the ordinance?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bill.
I think I've been in Weiss, or however you say their name. Everybody says it different, Weiss or Wise. That they asked you if you want paper or plastic, and they don't charge you.
Good point.
At least now, yeah. I could be wrong, but I thought that's where I was asked.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And
If
actually,
I,
Giant does that. I think if you ask
yeah,
for, give you paper. It's a good point.
right. If I like a couple times, if I forget my cloth bags, then they ask you, yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So they might be giving them away for free too.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Yep. No, those are good things to clarify. Great observations. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. So the fall newsletter came out, and we got a full page
Yeah, it looks
spread,
great.
spread here. It looks really good. The links still work, so it was nice to see. Um, and I guess the only question I got on the Facebook site was, do you know if this is only an electronic newsletter, Lynn, or are there plans to mail it?
That's a good question. I have not seen paper copies, but whether or not they might be available, maybe like at the GPCC. I'm not sure if it is paper anywhere. I know they
Yeah,
used to whole booklet, but I don't think
I
that
did.
the
I
letters
don't
ever.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember getting paper in the last couple of
Hmm.
years.
I
Oh,
haven't even gotten electronic, actually.
Yeah, so I know it's posted on the township site on the main page.
Right.
So it's the first corner up here on the right.
I see. Okay.
So it gets pretty good visibility. And then we also our communication from the July sewer bill inserts is still here, so that's also good. Um, and interestingly, even with the uh, newsletter and that article, we haven't received another response since August 27th, I think. So the feedback responses, I believe, were sorry, let's go here. So the 17th, last one we received was on the 18th of August. So that's the last. So I think that came from the sewer bill insert. So that means no one's pursued the link from the newsletter. So it may be that residents aren't necessarily confident or know to look for the newsletter on the website. So that's interesting. So I'm curious, maybe this user here who said I didn't get my newsletter in the mail yet, maybe they don't know that the township stopped giving or mailing them. So
Yeah, I don't think they mail hard copies anymore.
yeah, yeah. So, but if the residents don't know that, I guess the question would be, when were the residents ever informed that it was never going to be a paper copy again? And was there a communication that alerted residents to the fact that you should always look to the township website? So that might be a worthwhile question. I don't know, Lynn, if you can ask that question.
sure. Yep, I can do that.
Um, thanks. So I think,
So
yeah.
where, other than the township, where else is the link? Is it on our Facebook page?
I asked Andrew to put it here. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there it is. Yeah.
I asked Brandon to post it here on the so he should have put a link here to the
I
yeah,
wonder if,
he put a
if,
link to the
do you think we could put a public service announcement in the review or in the review? I'm sorry, that's my old Philadelphia paper, the Times Herald. Um, say, hey, please, fill out the plastic study. Could we do that, Lynn?
well,
Uh,
actually I think we've got enough feedback on the plastic study. Maria, I'm not interested in getting more
Oh, I
feedback.
thought you wanted more. I'm
No,
sorry.
no.
Okay.
I was just curious why people weren't reading the news. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're okay with all the feedback we receive. We're gonna trust that we go to the public meeting and we get feedback from the public meeting. So I don't think we need to do any more
Okay,
communication, sorry. So that's good. So at least we're in progress for that. Talked about the law and ordinance. I guess the next thing was the solar, and I know, Andrew, you're leaving here in a minute.
Yeah, pretty soon, next couple minutes.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, and Maria. So, okay, so this one, I think the township wants us to hold off on this proposal. I think, Lynn, the only thing that I would recommend is that the township only renew for 1 year of electric on their contract, because you have to renew this December. And I think we should put this out for bids to understand what the actual cost of the township would be this winter, so that you have time to possibly get an installer to put it in place by next December. Because if you can get this in place by next December, then you'll save on your electric renewal. So I just think that, this would be helpful to get this started. Because if you look at this return, $2 million over the life of the
Mhm.
So I've been working on this potential. This is really just a rough back of the napkin type of thing. I'm not a solar installer, so I can't say this would be the. But this was I received this from another Ready 400 volunteer in Chester County. He's pretty smart. So, but basically, this December's renewal is going to be at 6 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's why it's put as an input to this savings. So if our electric rate stays the same for the next 30 years, and actually there is an escalator here. So the utility price escalator is 2% per year. So it does show that by 2030 or 30 years from now, it would go up to 11 cents. And there's a pretty good, most people are predicting that electricity won't come back down because of the cost of natural gas and the demand around the world for it. So anyway, so this is still rough. We'd have to get a solar installer to actually vet this. But what it shows is if the township is going to be starting to pay 6 cents a kilowatt hour this December, if they install solar for even 20 years, it brings the effective electric rate down to 4.7 cents per kilowatt hour. So you look at the tax rebate here from the 30% federal tax credit for municipalities. And there's also a PICO incentive over here in column K of $87,000 for just the first year of production. So I added that to the payback column here, F, to show, so your payback here is that we would pay off the solar investment, so solar panel investment in year 9. And then the rest of this is gravy. This would just be savings on electricity for the township. So their investment of $1.3 million, effectively they get back, they'd save $2.8 million in 30 years to $2 million. So that extra $900,000 would be savings of electricity. So you lock in your electricity rate. So that's why I think it'd behoove the township to get in front of this fairly soon, because as other townships realize this financial windfall, there's going to be a demand that's going to start spiking next year. And if we get in too late, we won't be able to get ours installed until after anyway. So I'll keep tweaking this to get a little better idea. But Lynn, if you guys go into budget reviews here in October, it'd probably be good just to confirm with the finance director that we should just go for the 1 year renewal.
Okay, when Bill, when you feel like you've updated your spreadsheet, can you just pass that along if you don't mind?
Yeah, I guess I don't want to give the township false hopes, I guess, if I'm not a solar installer. I mean, this would be, if, as long as we give it to them and the caveat saying, this is really rough, ballpark. But yes, they would need to put it out for bid, I'm sure, to get realistic numbers. So yeah, I could do that. I'm still vetting it with a couple people over the next week or two, and then after that, I'll be glad to pass it along.
Yeah, no, I understood that it's not meant to be the final word as much as just it'd be helpful to see what you're seeing in detail
Yep.
and just for at least, first round.
And then we could get some feedback on people that find holes in this and say that's not real or that's not right. We
Yeah.
could get some realistic feedback. So that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other thing I'd like to actually ask for though is this, there's an opportunity here for a shared energy manager, and it's a offering because the PADEP receives federal funds from Department of Energy to run this program. And what they're opening up to is 20 municipalities will have this access to this shared energy manager. And this person could be someone who we could ask to vet this solar proposal and pursue it to bid. We could ask them to give us feedback on our energy transition plan, which we still need to get adopted. So there's a lot of things we could have the shared energy manager do. There's a couple actions that we put in the energy transition plan for the township to do an annual baseline or an annual assessment of their energy use each year. So that's going to require a little bit of work. So I have a feeling this is a great opportunity because it's no cost to the township, and it would give us a chance to learn a little bit more from their viewpoint. They're hiring a professional to do this for these townships. And actually, if I look back at the website for this program, and I'll forward this to Karen Weiss tomorrow, Lynn, just so that she can start putting in front of council. But what they did was that they did this last year, and they found that these boroughs, actually through the use of this shared energy manager, they were able to start showing some energy savings from what they did. Some of them did energy audits. Some of them did, I forget what the projects were, but okay, so there's year one results, and then here's year two results. So maybe they've done it twice already. So these were recommendations that I guess so I'll forward this all to Karen Weiss. So that you can
That was I read that. That's really a really excellent opportunity. I really liked it. Is the application for the township to do or for our committee to do?
I think it's actually could be filled in probably by any of us, shared energy manager.
I wonder how detailed the application is.
Yeah, I could look at it. I know there's a link here for the actual application, but I'm not seeing it right off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I didn't see it either because I was
Yeah.
looking at that when I was reading your agenda.
Yeah, maybe if I go back up one level. Shared energy manager caps out. So here it is. Here's the application.
Okay.
So yeah, we could look at this. It talks about contacts and do you have it's a fairly short
Wow.
application. And he said it will be competitive in the sense that, because they can only fit 20 in, they're going to give priority to people who have climate action plans, or I hope they'll include energy transition plans, which we have. So anyway, I'll send this all to Karen Weiss tomorrow. So I just wanted to get
We don't have much time. The 30th
I
is
know
coming up
30th
on us
is
quick.
10 days. All right. So I guess
Yeah.
since I didn't have enough quorum for my fellow board members to make this recommendation as an EAB board, all I can say is that the few of us that were on the meeting felt like this was a good thing to consider.
I mean, I don't want to speak for the entirety of council because this isn't something like we've talked about or entertained at length. And I appreciate, I mean, I think we probably all appreciate like getting ahead of things. I mean, thinking about options that are more green, that are more cost efficient. I mean, the only, I guess, caution I would share, to be candid, Bill, is I think the council is just going to be very cautious about any investments at this point, additional investments in sort of like, like infrastructure. I mean, we're still completing the township renovation. I mean, it's not done yet. It's behind schedule. We've got to get that completed. So I think if something's going to have a price tag on it, like a little, even if it saves us $2 million, if it costs dollars in the budget now that maybe, aren't readily available, that might be a concern. So, and I'm not saying we wouldn't consider it, but I just think that's going to be a caution. And we've got, a pretty sizable project in the completion of the current township building. And, an additional expenditure might be something that is difficult to absorb.
Yeah, and maybe that's another, reason to suggest getting this energy manager to do that head legwork for us, because they could vet it without taking any township time, and then they could put a full pro forma together as to what the actual cost would be. Because I think even if we look at the savings over electricity, so if you look at that possibly potential of $1 million, 1.1 million at 25 years, you could even do some forward cost or financing of that, and even get a loan at a certain percentage, and probably justify making that investment at the beginning using a loan, because you're going to get the federal tax credit, you're going to get the PICO credit, things like that. So otherwise you're spending that 1.4 million or 1.1 million over this 25-year life of the township. And if you had invested in this in year one, because right now our electricity bill for next year, this 6.4 cents is increasing our electricity bill by $77,000. So every year we wait, we're spending an additional $77,000 that we didn't have to spend last year when the price was down at 4 point something cents a kilowatt hour. So I think the fact that that Karen's not ready for me to make a presentation to council, I can't say that just sending this spreadsheet. That's why I don't want to send this spreadsheet to council, because
fair enough,
unless they want me to do a presentation, it's not worth just putting it in their lap without explaining it.
Fair enough.
So, I think that if you could advocate for me to come in November and pitch this, that would be the best approach.
Okay.
So Maria, I know you had to leave, so it's just Lynn and I. Okay. So I didn't have anything else on the agenda, so I tried to rush it.